What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So the reports out today have been absolutely insane. I want to go over what's actually happening. We're going to talk about the possibility that Pfizer actually lied about their vaccine. We're going to talk about how President Biden and the Biden administration are trying to take resources from the VA, from Veteran Affairs, and allocate those resources to immigrants coming across the border. Illegal immigrants, by the way. We're also going to address President Biden potentially bribing the American voters, and also address gas prices and the fact that California is, instead of giving their residents a stimulus or some type of cash voucher, they're actually going to be raising their gas tax by 5.6%. So, big swings, but this is what's going on. Again, all I ask is if you can do me a favor, it takes 2 seconds, hit that like button, and also make sure you click the subscribe button and click that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's get right down to it. So the first thing that's going on, and this is one of the big stories out today, is that the Biden administration is planning on using VA resources and taking those resources to address the crisis down at the border. This is huge. And what they are planning on doing is taking doctors and nurses from the VA and using them down at the border to take care of illegal immigrants. Now, this is obviously a problem for Republicans. Republicans do not want this to happen. And again, give me your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys are thinking as well. But just yesterday, Senate Republicans, they introduced a bill that would prohibit the use of Department of Veteran Affairs of their funds to provide emergency assistance at the southern border of the United States, resulting from the repeal of certain public health orders and for other purposes. So that's what Senate Republicans were doing yesterday. Now, they did this because there's an expected spike in immigration that will come if Democrats do terminate Title 42. That's the worry right now. And a judge blocked it. But again, we've been seeing this for the past year as the Biden administration does something, a judge blocks it. They continue to do it, a judge continues to block it. So again, it goes back and forth. But that's the issue right now, is there is a chance that we could see VA resources get turned over and pretty much pushed over to take care of illegal immigrants. So a lot of issues there, a lot of discussions, but that's currently what's going on. The next thing that's going on is President Biden trying to bribe the American voters. Well, let's talk about that, because what's happening is President Biden is attempting to forgive up to $10,000 in student loan debt. As of right now, the possibility of this happening is much greater than it has been in the past. And as a result, Republicans are panicking, and they do not want this to happen. Not only that, but Senator Mitt Romney, he's actually saying that this is simply just a way to bribe the voters. That's the problem. And I've been saying this all along. This isn't anything new, right? This is something that we've been seeing for quite some time. And I've said this, that Democrats would be foolish to waste their best opportunity to win back voters by canceling student debt now. And this is why I said that it would make more sense to play these political games and extend the payment pause as far as they can, and then right before the election, that's when they come in and they cancel up to $10,000 or $50,000 in student debt. Now, I'm not saying I want that. I'm not saying that's the best move. I'm saying for Democrats trying to win the election, that is the best move. And Republicans understand this. They understand what's going on. They understand what Democrats are trying to do. And because of that, they are going to do whatever they can to block this. Now, here's what Senator Mitt Romney said today. He said, and I quote, "Desperate polls call for desperate measures. Dems consider forgiving trillions in student loans. Other bribe suggestions: forgive auto loans, forgive credit card debt, forgive mortgages, and put a wealth tax on the super rich to pay for it all. What could possibly go wrong?" Now, what's interesting about all this is that Senator Bernie Sanders, he's saying that President Biden must address his promises. That he must address his promises, and he's not doing that. He says that President Biden needs to make sure that the American people know they can count on him. And this would mean canceling student loan debt, but also providing income for those on Social Security. Now, I've been saying this for probably at least 6 months, that Democrats do not want to cancel student debt, because if they do that, the other promise was raising Social Security benefits by $200 per month. That's not even being discussed. Okay, there's no discussions on that. The only discussions that are happening are, okay, if we cancel student debt, we got to cater to this other group that's going to be like, hey, where's our stuff? Where's our assistance? Where's our relief? Because we've been getting screwed for the entirety of this pandemic. So that's the reason why Democrats keep pushing this back, is because they know if they cancel student debt up to $10,000 per month or $10,000 per student, this is going to be almost a blowback for other groups, mainly people on Social Security. So a lot of stuff going on there, but what I can tell you is it's not getting any easier. These discussions are going to continue to happen. I will address everything as we get more information, but just understand they are getting a little bit closer to canceling up to $10,000 in student debt. Now, let's talk about the next thing, and that is how Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, they want to lower gas prices. And just recently, Senator Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they discussed what they could do to lower prices. Now, what eventually came out of this meeting is a bunch of nothing. Nothing really happened. Nothing's changed. Lawmakers continue to ask for why oil companies are seeing record profits, right? They're just making bank. But then they can't lower their prices because they say they don't have enough room in there to lower their prices for consumers. But yet, record prices, record profits. And that's an issue. Well, here's what is going on. This week, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he talked about how he could potentially introduce a new bill that would increase the FTC's their ability to stop gas price manipulation. Now, the expectation is that bill would actually get pushed back. That's not going to take priority because, well, lawmakers need to pass another bill for COVID relief, that $10 billion, right? More aid for Ukraine. Those are going to take priority over this gas bill, right? So just understand that. But in other gas news, and I thought this was very interesting because originally what was being discussed is California was originally talking about passing a gas voucher of up to potentially $400 per resident to help pay for fuel. That would have been a huge help. However, they have since turned from that to now they're walking back the idea of actually delaying the 5.6% scheduled gas hike that would actually take effect on July 1st. Here's what this means. In California, Californians currently pay the highest gas tax in all the United States. That's at 51 cents a gallon. Okay? Well, once this 5.6% scheduled gas hike goes into effect on July 1st, they would effectively be paying 53.9 cents per gallon. That is the new gas tax. So it just went up 2.9 cents. That's insane. This is one of the reasons why many people are worried. The government doesn't care. They don't care. They're making a lot of money from gas. As gas prices, they're making so much money, so it really doesn't matter to them. Right? So just understand that's what's going on for gas. Now, one of the things I want to talk about today, okay, and I really want to address this because I learned about this last week, dug into it a little bit, read a bunch of reports, and here's what's going on. I'm going to show you a SEC filing from BioNTech, who's Pfizer's partner in the COVID vaccine. Well, recently, BioNTech submitted their filing to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and inside their filing, they talk about their risks of investing in their company. Now, as an investor, I'm always looking into some of these filings, but this is one that I came upon just last week. Thought this is interesting because they talk about COVID. They talk about the vaccine. Now, here's a couple things I really want to get your attention because what's happening is this, and I'm going to show you the SEC filing in just a second, but this has been discussed by many smaller media outlets. It's not getting picked up by the mainstream media though, okay? and I want to explain what some of their risk factors are. So I'm going to show you this document. Now, right here, and you can see this is the, I'll scroll up so you can see it. I'll just go all the way up. There you go. So here it is. Okay, this is for BioNTech. You can see it right here. Okay, let me scroll back down. A little too far, way too far. It's on page 6. There we go. So on page 6, under their risk factors, it talks about the various risks in investing in their company. Well, there's a couple things that I want to point out to you. First off, it says our revenue depends heavily on sales of our COVID vaccine. Okay, future revenues from our COVID vaccine are uncertain. As an investor, I'd be a little bit worried because I understand that the vaccine is going to take a hit. A lot of people are not going to go and get it right now. Okay, but here's the other thing. The big one right here is we may not be able to demonstrate sufficient efficacy or safety of our COVID vaccine. And they may not be able to obtain permanent regulatory approval in the United States, UK, European Union, or other countries. That is an issue, okay? And I say this is an issue because, again, what you need to understand is if they cannot obtain permanent approval, which they haven't just yet, then, again, it's going to create issues. Not only that, but they are concerned about potential efficacy and safety concerns, right? And now what has me most concerned is the fact that not all vaccines are created equal. Okay, we know that. They're not created equal. And for the longest time, it's never been about getting the best one. That's not what it's been about. And this is the reason I bring this up is because that's kind of concerning for me is, okay, if the federal government is telling us, hey, go get the vaccine, you need it. It's going to reduce our the hospitalization rate. It's going to reduce deaths. Great. Okay, let's go get it. But then the problem is, can you count on the federal government? Can you rely on what they're saying? Can you believe them? Can you trust them? A lot of people aren't going to trust them anymore. Some people never did. But here's what we knew. Moderna was seen as the best vaccine. Pfizer and BioNTech was right behind them. And then you got Johnson & Johnson following up the rear. Well, we know there's a lot of issues with Johnson & Johnson, right? A lot of people don't want those. But then it was like, I don't care. Give me Moderna. Give me Pfizer. Both of them are great. The efficacy rate is good. I love it. Give it to me, right? But then that's the issue is, what if that really is not as effective? We were getting a lot more reports. But again, this is something that we don't see anymore because guess what? We're now worried about Ukraine. Worried about potentially getting a nuclear war between Russia. We're worried about the issues down at the Mexican-U.S. border. We're worried about inflation, a potential recession, the stock market completely selling off, right? All these new things. So now the American people, our eyes are not on COVID. They're not on the infection rate. They're not on that. We're being blinded by all these other things. So again, I just want to say I'm sorry because I too aren't filling you guys in on what's going on regarding COVID. So this is my, apology. I'm sorry. I will do a better job. But one of the things I've always said is that I would bring you the truth, whether it doesn't matter what side it's on. I'll bring you the truth to both sides of the story. And that's exactly what I wanted to do here. The truth is that Pfizer's vaccine might not be as effective against COVID as many people previously thought. So potentially Pfizer lied. So did really the FDA. So we will see what goes on moving forward, but just understand I will be here every step of the way. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.